Hey everyone, welcome to the Password Cracking 101 workshop, and this is brought to you by the CougarCS InfoSec team. So let me tell you all about CougarCS. You probably are already members, but CougarCS is basically the largest computer science organization at the University of Houston. And our mission is to transition students into young professionals, foster a community around diversity and inclusion, and provide mentorship and academic support for all students. So we're going to be talking about three things, really. The first section of this workshop is going to be all about hash functions, specifically hashing, integrity checking, and password hashes. After that, we're going to talk about malicious password cracking. So we're going to be talking about malicious actors, so hackers, and we're going to be talking about some cyber criminal forms. And we're going to actually go through some websites where hackers basically help like crack passwords, where they share passwords and where they can sell certain credentials. And finally, we're going to do actual practical password cracking. So you guys are going to be able to RDP into an AWS EC2 instance, which is a VM on the cloud. After that, we're going to be talking about some password cracking tools. And finally, y'all will be able to actually crack password hashes by yourselves using these tools. So what exactly is password cracking? Well, password cracking is the cracking of password hashes to find the password. And what are hashes exactly? Well, hashes are basically functions. Think of a function. When you have a function, you give this function an input and you get an output, right? Well, what you do when you hash something is that you input a piece of data, and this hash function will basically transform it into a series of digits and characters in order to mask the original value of the data. So this might seem a little bit confusing, but we'll elaborate on it later. Some popular hash functions are MD5, SHA-256, and NTLM. And one thing to keep in mind is that a perfect hash function will have a unique output for every unique input. So for those of y'all who've taken something like discrete math, you've probably heard of one-to-one or one-to-many or many-to-one functions. So in the perfect world, a perfect hash function would have a one-to-one relationship. So every one input would give you one output, right? And that's represented by f of x right here. So as you can see, -4 maps to -3, -2 to -1, 0 to 1, 2 to 3, and 4 to 5. However, in reality, hash functions are pretty hard to create, and there's basically a guarantee that there's going to be some collisions, which means there's going to be cases where two different inputs give you one output. And that can be shown with g of x. So as you can see, in g of x, you have -2 and 2, and both of those inputs give you 4. And that's not great, because if you have a hash function that does that, that means you can have two different passwords, and if you pass them through this hash function, it would give you the exact same hash, and you don't want that. Now, let's talk about some applications of hashing. There's two main applications. The first one is that hashing can increase security by masking passwords. And that's the point of this workshop. That's what we're going to be focusing on. And specifically, this is used in authentication. So say you have a company like Google, right? When you first go and create an account and you create a new password, Google does not store that password in its databases in plain text, which means if you enter the password, let's say password, right? If you make your password the word password, Google will not store the word password in its databases. What it's going to do is it's going to hash that password. So it's going to hash the password, and then it's going to store that password hash in its databases. What that means is that Google itself does not know what your password is, because it doesn't store your password. So you might be wondering, if Google doesn't know what your password is, how does it know, if you try to log in again, how does it know that you are you? How does it know that you entered the right password? Well, what Google will do is that when you enter your password, it's going to hash the password that you entered, and it's going to compare that hash to the password hash that it has in its database. If those passwords are the same, that means you entered the right password. And two, the second hashing application that we're going to talk about is that hashing can improve integrity checking. So integrity checking is basically, say you go to download some kind of software, right? In this screenshot, you can see that we're trying to download this tool called John the Ripper. John the Ripper is actually a password cracking tool that we're going to talk about later. But when you go to download a piece of software from a website, what the creators of that software will typically do is that, yes, they'll give you a link to download the software. They're also going to give you a link to download the signature of the software. And a signature is basically a hash. And what this hash is a hash of the entire piece of software. So what you can do to check if the software has been corrupted while you're downloading it or anything, what you can do is actually, after you download the piece of software, you can hash it. And then you can compare the output to the signature that's provided. If those hashes are a match, that means your download is perfect, it was not corrupted, and no hacker interfered with it, basically.
Wait, so hashing is just like taking some letters and like making that some multiple.
Kind of. So here are some examples. So if you guys want, you can go to that website and hash some things for yourself, like some characters or some strings. So for example, in MD5, the string password gives you that like series of like numbers and letters. And that's the hash for the string password. And what's special about hash functions is that if like the same input will always give you the same output, right? It's a one-to-one relationship, or it should be in a perfect situation. And so whenever you hash password, you're always going to get that series of strings and numbers. And in SHA 256, it's even bigger, right? So yeah, that's basically what password hashes look like. And it should be impossible to go back from the password hash to the original password. So let's talk about this is gonna be fun. So this is gonna be about basically malicious actors, right? Hackers in the real world who crack these kinds of passwords. So we're gonna be talking about like malicious actors and cyber criminal forums. So what are they? So cyber criminals use forums like to communicate, share resources, and sell products and services online. And these can be hosted on the ClearNet. The ClearNet is basically just the internet that we can access using like normal browsers. And they can also be hosted on the dark web. The dark web is a special part of the internet that you can only access using specialized browsers like Tor, the Onion browser. Yeah. And if you don't know about it, don't worry about it. You probably shouldn't go there. Yeah. So here are a few like examples of like forums on the ClearNet. One of them that I've okay. One of them is null.to, and we can actually take a look at it right here. It's basically used to sell a lot of like cracked software. You can find like databases on this, a lot of things. So if you go to like cracking, and you guys can check this out if you want as well, as long as you don't like buy anything sus from here. You know, CougarCS and we don't take responsibility for anything you do on this forum.
What constitutes such
Like buying hacked accounts.
anything that gets you in trouble with that?
Oh yeah, but they don't care about people who download stuff. They go after the people who like sell them, right? Because if you can stop the sellers, then you can stop pretty much everything. So yeah, so if you look here, you can see like combo lists, proxies, and combo lists are also called word lists. Keep that in mind because we're going to be talking about that later. We're going to use word lists when we try to crack our own passwords. So combo lists are basically what they say they are. They're combinations of usernames and passwords, combo lists. And as you can see, like there's so many people like these malicious actors, they're selling all these like, you know, Netflix, Minecraft, Spotify combo lists that they probably leaked from their databases. You can find, you know, emails, you can find VPNs, gaming, Spotify, Steam, all this stuff. So this is where they share resources, and other people can download these and crack the passwords basically, and then sell them on the same forum. Yeah, and like combo lists are not the only things they sell. Like they sell things like proxies. Proxies are basically these servers, right? So when you try to go through, when you try to like brute force on a website, right? So say you want to make sure that a certain combination, a username and password combination is correct on a website, say Google, right? You're gonna have to check, right? You're gonna have to manually input the username, password, and click sign in. And if it succeeds, that means you have a valid combination. So what people try to do is they try to automate that. So they throw thousands of combos at a website like every second to check if any of them are correct or not. And what Google, things like companies like Google do, they can like detect that one IP address is sending that many requests, and they can block you, right? That's what they're going to do. So for that reason, you can use proxies. So you can basically make your traffic go through different servers until it reaches the Google servers. So Google is going to think there's a lot of different people trying to access, like trying to sign in, but it's actually only you because you're using different proxies. So yeah, those are examples. And like, you know, these are on the ClearNet and you guys can check them out if you want for educational purposes. But yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you're using proxies and stuff, big companies like Google,
Mhm.
is that why they use two-factor authentication? There you go. That's the word.
Yeah, so the reason companies use two-factor authentication is a password is not enough to keep your account secure these days at all. And Z, do you want to add something onto that? Like, do you? Okay, can you tell us about like the five? Oh, come on. Can you tell us about like the five? What's it called? Like who you have? Yeah, the main.
So anyways, the main three types of authentications you have, right? So something you know, something you are, and something you have. Okay. So if you were to, let's say, use a password and a security question, those two, would you consider something you know? That's not multi-factor authentication because it's only in one that categories. So it's only multi-factor when you use 2 out of the 3 at a minimum, right? So something you know, or let's say a fingerprint, that's something you are, that identifies it, that's multi-factor. Or let's say something you know is something you have. So let's say authenticator with like a short code, like, hey, type in this code, right? You know, or it changes and rotates. Like, so yeah, that would be multi-factor authentication.
Yeah, so I think there's 5, right? So something you know, something you have. Okay, so something you know is like a password.
Right.
Something you have is like a YubiKey, right?
Yeah, so like a YubiKey.
Like a YubiKey, yeah.
Like
Something you are is like biometrics, so retina scans or thumb scan, like thumbprint, whatever. And then there's somewhere you are, so your geographic location, so your IP address, and then there's something you can do, right? So on Android, you can like solve a certain pattern, right?
Like, you guys know, like, whenever you try to, let's say you gotta draw a pattern.
That's something you can do. Yeah.
Something you can do, but that kind of falls into like something you know the pattern.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Is that like reCAPTCHA? Would that be something you can do? Because you can
yes,
match it.
right. It's just like identify you're not a robot.
Yeah.
But, like the main three you want to talk about is the one I mentioned, because the other two are just kind of like anybody could do, right? Or a robot eventually will be able to do the same.
Yeah.
So whenever, let's say you go to interviews and stuff, just remember the main three, and why is it like that? It's because you're using two of that category,
Mhm.
not because you're just using two ways off. There's a flying new ones there.
Yeah, like again, like you to make it fully two-factor, you have to use two of the categories at least, right? And if you use more than two, that's multi-factor authentication. And like again, like if you use two something you knows, right? So like two passwords, that's just the same thing with extra steps, right? That's not actually gonna increase your security by too much. So yeah, it's really important to use things of different categories. So for example, most websites use like something you know and something yeah, things like that. So yeah, let's get into like practical password cracking. So now we're gonna RDP into our AWS instance. We're gonna like talk about some cracking tools, and we're gonna do some like we're gonna talk about CPU versus GPU versus like VM cracking. So yeah, pretty much these steps. So can you guys go over to this URL, and this should lead you to like a Google document. And it's gonna walk you through how to like connect to our server through RDP. It is safe. You can check if you want. I'm in.
What are we using then?
Yeah, it's wait, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Are you using Linux?
No, we're not doing anything on your machines. You're gonna be connecting to RDP.
Oh.
And if you're using Linux, you can just use like XRD, I mean Remina.
Yeah.
Remina is a
Yeah,
client,
Remina.
yeah, for RDP. But yeah, Windows should have it built in, and like iOS devices have this really great RDP client on the App Store for free. It's all outlined on the document.
What is Remina again?
Oh, Remini is an RDP like client. REMMIN.
It's like a Hollywood.
You can get it through wait, what do you think? Yeah, you can just Google that number like what is that font?
It's such a text. I was like, it's a long story.
I'm traumatized by having to build a fucking OS. Oh, yeah, that's a sitcom, bro. Yeah, actually, saw it right. That's a sitcom, bro. Mine got like 2 hours, 3 Spider-Man. Right? I was in What's this on the right? I think you know this was. I mean, if they walking on some shouldn't be showing us it's right. I
don't know why. I'm just like,
it's you just need to know that. Oh, man, got Hollywood getting into so much. It's like let's try and navigate so random. Let's do. That's what I explained.
yeah.
Oh, actually, you're not well, Windows has a chance to and let me pull up the IP address actually. I'm not gonna remember it.
Uh,
Oh, I think I can. All right. Okay. All right. That's no problem.
Yeah, I can't like make a slide for the IP address in advance because it changes every time the machine restarts. So it's pretty annoying.
Oh, you're talking about the basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All of it.
So when it asks for your IP address, put this in. Or the not your IP address, the IP address of the machine you want to connect to. And after everybody's like on their client, just let me know, like a thumbs up or something. You are Armin?
Yeah.
And yeah. All right, so does everybody have it up? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna like point to y'all and give y'all numbers. All right, make sure you remember that number. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
9,
and you want me? 10. Okay.
Actually, he can be 9.
Okay, you can be 9. Okay, so if you guys entered like if you guys see like XRDP, does it say like that on the screen once you hit
It's
that?
gonna be a blue screen with
Yeah.
like blue background and some water.
You all see it? Cool. So your username and password is going to be student, and then the number I just gave you. So if I give you 3, it would be student 3 for the username and student 3 for the password. So type that in and log in, and let me know if it works. Yeah, just hit cancel. You guys can just hit cancel if it asks for authentication. Yeah. Yeah, don't mind what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to log in myself.
What if someone forgot to put the number at the end of student, just put student?
Oh.
Is their computer gonna blow up?
No.
That's pseudo.
Did you try to do that? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. What does it say?
Press, I think he said cancel. Yeah, he pushed it. Wait for you to
Hey, here, what did you pass it?
Can it work?
Yeah, it just.
That's scary. That should not.
Wait, what? Hey, don't look at me, you can figure that.
Oh my god, bro.
I just.
Okay, whatever, you can do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine. As long as you get logged in.
Wait, hey, what was the login credential for XRDP?
What number did I give you? 7. Okay, so student 7, username and password.
Did we upgrade it?
No, don't. If all of you upgraded it at once, that would like not be good.
I like
Hmm?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I think that's I think everyone else has it.
What's another one?
So that's part.
Oh, I'm hard.
And then bring it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Have you worked with Marmot? Yeah. It's like not full smooth. No, is it?
Yeah, Remla's kind of weird sometimes.
All right, so we're all logged in, right? Yeah, cool. All right, so let's talk about some popular password cracking tools. Let me check the time. Okay. So some really popular tools are John the Ripper and Hashcat. And what I love about like these names is that like hacking tools always have amazing names. Like, come on, John the Ripper, that's so cool. Because it rips apart the hashes. So John the Ripper, it was developed by this really cool company called OpenWall. And it's fairly old actually. It's pretty old, but it gets updated very, very often. And then there's another one called Hashcat. Hashcat is more recent. I think it came like it was developed around like 2017 or 2018. And it's also really nice. What Hashcat is great for is cracking stuff with your GPU. So
Good question.
Mhm.
Do you have anything set up on the Ubuntu image that they have to authenticate or no?
no.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, so Hashcat is newer than John the Ripper, and you can use your GPU to crack passwords instead of just using the CPU. And the GPU is going to be so much more powerful, and it's just going to crack passwords much faster. They both have different. Well, first, they're both CLI programs, so you need to run them through the terminal. And two, they both have different syntaxes. So for this workshop, we're going to be using Hashcat. And I'm going to explain every single flag to you guys as we go through it. So what exactly do we need to crack passwords? There's three things really that we need to input into these tools for them to start cracking. So first we need a word list, right? I showed you guys earlier on null.2, like that thing called combo lists. That's basically what a word list is. A word list is just a huge like list of different like basically strings. So in this case, we're going to be using this word list called RockU. RockU is infamous. It is one of the most popular word lists used by hackers because it's Z. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like it was one of the most popular word lists from like a breach or something.
Yeah,
right?
so RockU was a company, but they stored their users' passwords in plain text. And they got breached, and this is the result.
Yeah. So now it's one of the most popular.
Yeah, because it's actual people's passwords, right? So
Yeah.
legit, like you look into that file, you can see stuff like I love you, F you, ITCH, like it's all in there. It's hilarious.
And yeah, I placed a copy of RockU inside all of y'all's like home directories. So if you go, like open up the file manager and go to home, your home, you should be able to see like these three different files that I put in there. So inside each of your home directories, you have RockU, you have this file called hash identifier, and you have what else? Oh yeah, the password like hashes. Yeah.
It's not spelled like RCKY.
It is spelled RockU. Yeah.
When I tried it before. That's almost like having.
Wait, where's your
You're using Windows? No, I'm using this.
No, he needs to get the RockU list.
Yeah, I'm just
He's
gonna.
running Hashcat on
Okay.
a local
all
environment.
right, that's fine.
The EC2 instance doesn't have a graphics driver. That's why Remla's pulling up like a small window.
It works for Windows though, and
Yeah,
and
also
Mac, I
Windows.
think. Okay.
Linux.
Okay, yeah. So that's what a word list is. It's basically like a huge list of passwords that we can use to crack other passwords, essentially. And then two, we need a password hash, right? So this is the hash of the password that we're actually trying to crack. And three, we need to know the format of the hash. So by the format, I mean like the type of hashing algorithm that was used to hash the password that we're trying to crack. And let's get into it. So how exactly do these tools crack password hashes. Well, so if you imagine the word list as this huge list of passwords, right? I would tell y'all to open it up, but it's huge. So if you guys all open it up, it's gonna make the machine really slow.
Oh, hash graph? No.
No, wait, but it has like what, 196 gigs of memory, so it should be fine.
Yeah, it's like 100 something megabytes. It's a text file.
Yeah, 100 megabytes text file. So these word lists are huge. You can have word lists like text files that are like several gigs. So yeah, what these tools do, like, you know, Hashcat and John the Ripper, they iterate through each word on the word list, and they create a hash of each word, right? So say you have like I love you, right? So it's gonna go to that. It's gonna create a hash of I love you, given the hashing algorithm that we provided. It's gonna create a hash, and then it's gonna compare the hash with the password that you're trying to crack, right? So if you have a password hash that you're trying to crack, it's gonna compare that to the hashed I love you. And if those two hashes match, that means the password that you have the hash of that you're trying to crack, that is I love you, basically. So it's basically trying to brute force. It's brute forcing through all of these these words to try to find that one hash. And you know, if the password is not on your word list, you're not going to be able to find it. If it is, though, you will eventually.
So for hackers, do they use, well, obviously they use like Python probably the most, right?
For scripting?
Yeah, for the scripting on going through these
Mhm.
word lists, right? Would they use like threading and multi-processing to make it faster, or would they just?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, a lot of, you know, like I think Hashcat or John the Ripper, one of them has an option for forks. So you can specify through the command line, you can specify how many forks you want to use, and it's going to create that many different forks, and all of them will be cracking like a certain password on the word list at a certain time, or using a certain word on the word list at a certain time. And yeah, it's even possible for things like Hydra. Hydra is this like other, it's like this other brute forcing, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It's for brute forcing services. So things like SSH, RDP, you can brute force all of those with Hydra. And Hydra also allows you to multi-thread. So you can specify how many different connections you want. So you can, I think by default it uses 4, but you can specify like even more, and it's going to have that many different connections. But you should be careful because, like, again, if you're not using proxies, all this traffic is coming from one IP address. So they can catch on pretty quickly.
You're gonna have a bunch of employees.
Or you just a massive botnet of like millions and millions.
But those are really hard to create, right?
Well, can't you?
I mean, they're really expensive.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Like botnets.
Oh, botnets?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I haven't actually looked at it. I probably would just like to just research.
Yeah.
Like just to see, because I don't know what it actually looks like. I just know what they do.
Oh, botnets.
I mean, botnets, they're just a lot of different like computers
Yeah, I know what they
acting
do. I
together,
just don't
right?
know, like, oh, this is like an actual botnet I could buy, and like this is a listing for it, you know.
There's actually hacking services out there that you can purchase, tell companies like, hey, I want to hack this, whatever, right? And then you pay them a fee and they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, there's actually, yeah.
For education.
Speaking of that, there's also online services that can crack password hashes for you. One of them is called CrackStation. And like you just put in like any hashes that you wanted to crack, and it's going to do it for you, or it's going to try to do it for you, because there's no guarantee that you'll be able to crack a certain hash. So you can enter up to like 20 non-salted hashes, and you know, say that you're not a robot and crack hashes.
What are non-salted?
So okay, so everything that we've been talking about so far, those are non-salted. And to add another level of protection onto that, what you can do is actually salt your hashes. So right before you hash your password, you add a string of random text onto it and then hash it, right? So if you do that, traditional methods like using like these cracking tools, those are not going to work because you don't know that random string of text that you appended to a password. But the company would use the same text for everything, so it would know what its secret like text is, but you wouldn't, right? So that's what a salt is, and operating systems use salts and stuff. So if you're using Linux and you go to like Etsy Shadow, you're going to be able to see all the salts and stuff.
Will you be able to use that for like, is it only the beginning? Cause I would assume they put it in the middle to, like at the end, right? Like not at the beginning only.
What do you mean?
So, well, like the salt for the hash, like you were saying, they append the string, like
Mhm.
if you, well, let's say if you get a breach and you have hashes,
Mhm.
right? Like you see, okay, there's a common, I guess, salt in them. Okay, I know this is probably.
Well,
salt.
you wouldn't be able to know what the salt is,
Oh, so it's not,
right?
it's not
Because you
one-
you add it and then you hash it.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying you.
And then the hash is just random characters, right?
Right.
So how do you be able to tell what it is?
So
Okay.
how do companies know the random string that they put on the password?
Well, that's just for them to decide, right? It can just be random, their own thing.
No, it's algorithm. It's an algorithm that you add character code for hashing. So.
And wait, it can be different. It is different salts for each password, right?
Yeah, it is different.
And if they do that, they would have to store all the like salts on their own databases and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would be able to, would that be like plain text? So, or would that also be hash as well?
It would be plain text,
Plain text salt?
I think.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it could be plain text salt. It kind of depends on what the company says or what company wants to do with it.
Yeah, it's all very flexible. Yeah.
Just like if you're ever developing an application, my best suggestion, if you ever want to do hashing, is do not do the hash yourself. Okay, do not try to write the algorithm yourself. You use like a actual like algorithm that somebody else built. Yeah, just a word of advice.
That's for everything cryptography related, right?
Yeah.
Never try to do it yourself. Always use the established methods. And never use a private algorithm because you want something that's been battled, like tested, So yeah. Okay, yeah, so where were we? Yeah, so we just explained this. Okay, so let's actually like crack passwords. So I give you student 3, right? Okay, I'll use student 2 then. All right, so if you guys go to your like home directories, you should see something like this. And okay, we are going to be using the terminal. So pull up the terminal. If you guys don't know how, it's the shortcut is Control Alt T. So if you guys hit Control Alt T, it should pull up the terminal. Let me know when it does.
It was to this cat in the terminal, so I get the crash here.
You did it
I did.
on the server?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I was gonna open it and editor and it said, are you positive you want to open this something to help you to?
Yeah. Okay, so did y'all pull up the terminal? Cool. So what you guys want to do is this right here. So type in CD and hit enter. And so just type in CD and hit enter. After you do that, type in ls. And after you type in ls, you guys should see something like this. There should be a folder called first task hashes. Then there should be a file called hashid.py. And there should be rocky.txt. Do you guys see that? Yes. Thumbs up. Cool. So let me go through what these are. So RockU, as we talked about before, it's a word list and it's huge. To see exactly how long it is, like how many words are in it, we can use you guys don't have to do this. I'm just gonna show you like how big it really is. So all I did was I used a program to count how many lines there were inside the file, and there is this many. So that is 14,344,391. That's how many words are inside that word list.
You'll do like a cat, okay? Like.
Oh, you know what? Why not? Let's just do cat rock you.
Yeah, cat rock you and like maybe like the first 100, I guess.
Let's do all of them.
Oh, okay, cool.
Be nice like
And
You might want to pause at some point because it's a lot.
it's ordered alphabetically, so we're in the M. Wait, no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, I think it's all split second.
No, it's yeah, it's reverse. No, never mind.
Number now.
Yeah, so there's a lot, and these are actual passwords. These are actual people's passwords that were compromised from the company Rocky, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so that's our word list, and what hash ID is it's gonna help us identify what hashing algorithm was used for a certain hash. And we're going to use that soon. So first, let's do ls first task hashes. So your command should look like this, just ls space first underscore task underscore hashes. And when you do that, you should see the contents of that directory or of that folder. Hash1.txt, hash2.txt, hash3.txt, and hash4.txt. And we're going to be trying to, like, each of these files has one hash inside it, and we're going to be trying to crack each one of those hashes with hashcat. So let's actually first identify what hashes are inside, what hashing algorithms were used for each of these hashes. So for that, we can do cat first. I'm just going to check if this works, and then I'll. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the command that you guys want to use is whoa, that's weird. I think I zoomed out. It's really small. I don't know how it zoomed. Okay, there you go. All right. So yeah, the command that you guys want to use is this. So cat space first task hashes slash hash1.txt, and then that little pipe symbol. I can zoom it in more if you guys would like. Yeah. And then pipe it into Python3 space hash dash ID .py. Let me know when you guys like have that all written down. Do you guys have it? Yeah. Okay. Once you have that, hit enter. And you guys should get some output like this. Let me know if you guys do. Yeah. Okay, so what this program basically tries to do is it tries to like guess what hashing algorithm was used for that hash. So for the hash in file 1, when we ran this program on it, it gave us these two hashes. So it says possible hashes, MD5, and then this really weird thing right here. So we know, like, well, we should be fairly certain that the first that the hashing algorithm used for the first hash was MD5. And using that, we can now run our very own like password cracking tool, because now that we know like what the hashing algorithm is. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit right here. I don't know the syntax by heart, so I'm just gonna use this little key I wrote. Okay, so this is the syntax for hashcat. So first, what you want to do is type in the name of the program, which is hashcat. Then you want to specify the mode. The mode is going to tell hashcat what like hashing algorithm we want to use. And in this case, the mode is going to be 0. For hashcat, 0 signifies MD5. That's why we're using 0. Next, we're going to be specifying the attack mode. So -A, we want to specify that we're using a dictionary, so a word list. And for that, it's going to be 0 again. So -M0, -A0. Then we're going to be using the force flag, because we don't have the drivers installed on this VM. That it's weird. It gives us errors if we don't use --force. And then we want to specify the hash file. So the name of the file. Oh yeah, you don't want to copy this. In this case, it's just going to be this right here. So it's going to be first task hashes, and then inside that folder, we have hash1.txt. And then lastly, we want to specify the word list. So as you guys can see, like those are the 3 things we talked about. We need the word list, we need the file hash, and we need the type, the algorithm type to hash with. And once you guys have this written down, like let me know. Oh, the help? Yeah. The help for hashcat is long. Yeah, it's really long. All right, do you guys have it? Cool. So I'm hoping this doesn't crash the server. But let's run it. So just say enter. If it gives you any errors, then that probably means you mistyped something. But I'm gonna hit enter and see what it does. Okay, so for me it says all hashes found in pot file. That means I already did this before. So I already tried doing this, and it saved the password inside this specific file. So it's not gonna show me, but like if you guys do it, you should be able to see the what's it called, the password that I got. Yeah, that's the password.
Oh, so what is it?
That's the hash inside hash1.at.
Okay.
Yeah. So what it did was it went through the word list. It hashed each word on the word list, and they compared that hash to this right here.
Okay.
So coincidentally, this hit wasn't wrong. So we found the yeah. Yeah, so that's the password. All right, so if you guys ran it and you didn't mess up the syntax or anything, you should have gone that the password was biscuit, basically. Did you guys get that? It's still going for you? Wait, are you doing it on my location? Oh, you got it. You got it.
Oh, there.
Yeah. It has a weird. It has a weird like design. But yeah. All right. So, let's do the second hash now, right? Let's do the second hash now. So, this time let's actually see what the hash is before we try to crack it. So do cat first task hashes and then hash2.txt. So type this in. And after you guys do, just hit enter. And this is the hash that we're trying to crack. And as of right now, we don't know what type of algorithm was used to create this hash. So once again, we want to run this right here, this command. And you guys can go up, like you guys can use the arrow keys to go up, like to your previous commands. So just hit the up arrow key, keep hitting it, and you guys will come to this command if you guys used it. So all I'm gonna do is change #1 to #2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, but Backstation is not like it doesn't let you use your own word lists. Your own word lists. So that's I guess that's a disadvantage. Also, when you want to crack passwords, you're not always going to go to online websites like this, right? So you can crack these hashes using Backstation, but like it's much cooler to use your own like similarities. Yes, and do it on your own machines.
I was gonna ask, where did you get the Python script to crack the?
Do you identify that?
Yes, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, so it was on GitHub. I can like see it here if you want.
yeah, it's really long.
It's
really long.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there's like aside from like Rocky, right? There's also like a list online. It's called SecList. If you guys want to ever look it up, so that is a collection of all of the default passwords like you will have on server devices, like Oracle database or like something. So, you know, when you set up a new device, there's always a default password, right? And that's the list.
Yeah, this is it right here, SecList.
Yeah, it's like list.
And check this out: discovery, fuzzing, IOCs, miscellaneous passwords, pattern matching.
Yep.
If we look at passwords, look at how many there are. These are all word lists. And these can all be used to like try to look at this 10 million passwords. 10.
There's also router default passwords in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have different languages too. You have Dutch, German. Yeah.
So you're trying to start with.
These aren't technically illegal because they violated the right?
Yeah.
No, it's not illegal.
No.
These are like, you know, in the manual on like, you know, some of these devices.
What I should say is like, if you looked at another one that wasn't like default passwords, right? Those are actually breaches. I feel like that would be illegal.
That would be.
That would be, yeah.
would be.
So looking at.
Like the ones we saw on the forum, those are illegal.
So why are they, because they were illegally gotten? Because it was from a breach?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's illegal to sell them, right?
It's a privacy thing, right?
Yeah.
You want to know your passwords?
No, okay,
No, I mean, I know what you mean. Like,
like just, you know, so like you said, please.
No, you.
it's like a gray area, right?
Yeah. Okay. Like just go on to the website.
Oh, yeah.
I showed them null.to. We went through it. We saw the like combo list and stuff.
Plus a Steam account.
We're not hold accountable for any illegal actions.
I said that, yeah.
So I would assume that like, Rocky had to, had to say like authorize it and say like this could be used for.
Yeah, I think it's also based on time, right? After a certain amount of years, if it's like open and everywhere, I guess.
Well, Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky was just like a gray area. It's like you can look at it, you won't get trouble.
Yeah. It's all very iffy. You know, just the other day I was browsing through GitHub. I was looking for like LinkedIn tools. And I saw there's this GitHub repository with like a complete dump of LinkedIn databases from 2021. I think I put it, yeah, no, I don't know where it is, but yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, you can look at it, don't do the action.
Yeah.
Can you go back to your example?
Yeah.
So the 2 zeros in the very first command at the very top.
Mhm.
What's the first zero and the second zero? What are they?
So this is the this is the type of algorithm that was used.
Okay.
The hashing algorithm, you specify it. And if I pull up hashcat documentation,
Just show them the hashtag help, baby.
Yeah, it's so long. Hold up. I don't know if I want to do it. Okay, I'll just do it. Okay.
Come on, use it. Oh, so good.
Okay, so yeah, so here you go. So these are all the hash modes, and as you can see, a specific like number is mapped to the algorithm. Like, so in this case, we're using MD5, so we specified 0. So dash M0. If we wanted to do SHA1, we would do dash M100. Yeah. And the second one is used to specify the type of attack that we're using. So in this case, we're using a dictionary attack. So we did dash A0 to specify that we want to specify a word list, things like that. Yeah. So yeah. So did you guys run this? Wait, where'd it go?
Are y'all familiar with Linux? So a lot of the times, right, it's like if you need to understand what flag what does the flag do, right, like just now, do a dash dash help, and that will give you the result, like, what attack mode or what kind of hashing algorithm you want to use. So I try doing that if you ever don't understand what what does the flag do.
Yeah. So do you guys do this for the second hash? So we want to identify the hashing algorithm used for the second hash. And so we would do the same command, but we would just change the name to specify hash2.txt. It does?
It's a,
Okay, so I guess it's supposed to. Okay, yeah, so that's weird. I guess the program doesn't work all the time. I
Oh, are you talking about the one time that's not the right guy?
did you use it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was SHA1, yeah. So yeah, I'll just tell you guys what the hashing algorithm is. It's SHA1, and as I showed you on Hashcat, the key to use that is 100. So all we have to do is change this to 100 instead of 0, and we want to change the hash file to 2 because we're cracking the second hash now. So if we do that and hit enter, it's not gonna give it to me because I already used it. Like it's stored in a file. If you guys do it, you guys will get the password. So try that command.
yeah. No, like.
How's it? Actually, I mean, like yeah. Look like it. Because I know the tutorial is it's pretty fast. But like when you try to use the GUI, it's
I just kind of like have expected
it's a fourth pass immediate.
Oh no, you just time laptop. It's been really good. Yes, this stuff.
Oh,
So
run. So
I just get waiting for
so my race is I don't know that's why no so you can't
so if you actually
so why did it change that cursor stuff? Okay, that's all and then
that's probably
when you don't have
Frank was telling me about
so just change that one
stuff and run that and install it. And then download and tab. And so I just have to do it. Like it's just less and other things. Other things.
All right, so how about you guys try to crack the last two hashes by yourself? I'll give y'all the number, so the hashing algorithm, right? All you have to do is change the command, like the hashcat command and the name of the file. You don't want to know the. How are you gonna find it? The program doesn't work. Remember?
Maybe it works on three.
Okay, sure, you can try.
OV2 is just unlock that.
Okay.
Or you do a slow bash page.
Wait, what would the word?
The hash ID
It does work.
for all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. It doesn't work for Nathan.
Yeah, it worked.
Okay, so 14, 1,400.
Kind of get what I can. So the last one.
Okay, no. Look, I'll tell you guys like the code that you need, but you guys can like try to crack the other ones by yourself.
Are there a prize?
No.
Oh, yeah, you're really going over the big fish, huh? Well, I'm broke, so.
Yeah. What did it say? What was that?
I feel like I'm listening to this thing.
Vibing.
Yeah. I'll start watching channels. Are you?
Oh, I had to, I have another part.
Yeah, I feel like my taste was confirmed after getting so. Yeah. Yeah, I really like
This, like this.
Yeah, like all the things are really. Like this. Oh, you're like, okay, cool. Okay, now.
What's the third to the? Where's the model? So where? Down to the third one. Yeah, the air. Oh, it's the file error files.
Okay, wrong new. Is that?
Yeah, oh, no.
You're using that's a goal because.
Wait, CAT stands for concatenate, so it prints out files to your phone. Hashcat is the program that we're using to find out.
Oh, I thought.
So because you're using Hashcat, it's passing you the wrong like so.
Yeah. That makes sense.
There is
Yeah.
Oh, shit. They were. What's the third hash? I mean, third hash one.
Security automation playbook. Like, I was with it at work, feels great.
From what, 10 minutes to
3 minutes and 7 seconds.
that's crazy.
I know, it's like a 96% reduction. Yeah, I'm shit on a lot of myself.
All right, so did y'all crack all the passwords yet? Yeah. Okay, why are you laughing?
Okay, he's an arch Chad, guys. It's okay.
Can you just type like man as well? Like, you know, pull up the same thing.
Yep.
It depends on if the people who like created the program provide command pages. But yeah, for the most part, yes.
Just come in for that one video. When you come in for it, you will want to type it. If they do something like that.
All right, so if y'all are done cracking passwords, I'd like to suggest some like further resources that you could use. If you guys don't know what TryHackMe is, it's like this amazing platform where you can like basically train using like actual rooms basically. So on TryHackMe, they have these things called rooms, and they guide you through a lot of different topics. And one of them is John the Ripper. So that is actually where I got some of the hashes from that you guys cracked today. That was from this room. So John the Ripper room right here. And it's really long and it goes through I know we used Hashcat, but if you want to learn about John the Ripper, like you can go through this room and it teaches you about not just one type of hash, but all these different types of hashes. So cracking Windows hashes, Etsy shadow hashes, it can it's teaching you how to like crack zip files, like if they're protected, RAR files, SSH keys, things like that. And so there's that. There's this, I think, yeah, there's a hashing in crypto room as well. So it talks about like the concepts such as hash functions, recognizing password hashes, right? I think that's where I got the hash identifier from right here. So yeah, so just if you guys are interested in it, just go to TryHackMe. It's completely free. You guys can make an account and get access to like most of these rooms like instantly for free. But yeah, so like, do you guys have any questions?
So just to be clear, so when you have a quote unquote breach and it's leaked, that list or text is just gonna be full of hash, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes I'll tell you, or or the companies like Rock You.
or yeah, just plain text, right?
So it's either gonna be one or the other, and then so if you have hashes, you're gonna be doing something similar to what we're doing.
Yeah, you're gonna be doing exactly what we did. Yeah.
Okay.
It just instead of having like one hash in each file, you're gonna have like the entire database. You just like plug it in and it's gonna do it for you. Yeah. And the success of like password cracking depends like on the quality of your word list. Right. So if the password is not in your word list, then you're not gonna find it. But yeah.
The whole password is just on your
Yeah, but if you guys have no other questions, like that was pretty much it. That was the password cracking workshop. Arch guy. I use Arch, by the way. Cool.